Students from Boulder, Colorado, and good morning to you. I am very pleased to be teaching Qversity's Introduction to Financial Modeling. I will be your host for this 5-week, 10-hour course on financial modeling. And let me just welcome students, faculty, friends, esteemed colleagues, including Hanut, Harpal, Harry, Glenn, Priyanka, Dhruv, and Bavinder, among many, many others that have made this possible. This is Qversity's live class. We pride ourselves on delivering live classroom instruction. And so your participation is greatly encouraged and welcome. I will be asking some questions from time to time, and you will get special recognition from me, your professor, Mark. That's me, when you answer questions or when you participate. So I'd like to begin by recapping what I spoke about last week, which is a quick introduction. It will take me just about 5 minutes to introduce the course and what I expect to impart to you as my students over this 5-week period that we're going to be together. And so with that, I will share my screen. Bear with me for a moment. Okay. Can everybody see that? Yes? Okay, so once again, this is the Introduction to Financial Modeling. This is a Qversity live classroom course. The curriculum was developed by Professor David Spiegelman. He is a professor at City College of New York, which is a fantastic university. And I will be delivering a lot of his content, but I will also be sharing my own practical experience as someone who has been using financial modeling for the last 30 years. My goals for this course are, and I don't know if you can see the full screen. Let me see if I can adjust that. Yes. So, view. I can make this full size, I think. Yeah. Okay. Yes, much better. So the goals for this class are to, one, understand key concepts in finance and accounting. Now, I learned from last week that many of you students are already proficient in the basic finance and accounting knowledge that you need to have. We're going to probably spend a little bit of time going over some of the key terms. I shared a glossary, which Priyanka can also share with you, I believe through the original curriculum that we shared with you guys. But if you need to get a copy of that, let me know. And we'll go over a little bit of that this evening as well. Secondly, obviously, to become proficient in key sheets and Excel features and techniques, to be able to confidently build a financial forecast model in Sheets or Excel, and confidently build a financial decision-making model in Sheets or Excel. Why would you take this course? Well, I would argue that this is a really important skill to have, financial modeling. It is a skill that will differentiate you from others who don't have the skill, primarily because it is applicable in pretty much every aspect of business and, for that matter, every aspect of life. Whether you are creating a database, whether you are analyzing an investment decision that's going to be made by your company that you work for or by you personally, whether you want to look into the future, right, by creating a forecast or a projection that will essentially allow you to look into the future based on the assumptions that you use in the model, which we're going to spend some time with tonight going over. Really important skill to have. I will show you lots of shortcuts and tips and ways to avoid getting caught up in things that are really unnecessary and not important. There are essentially 4 or 5 really important things that you need to know about financial modeling, and the rest of it is all what I would call window dressing, meaning that it's to make your model look pretty or to make your charts and graphs look colorful. But in reality, the substance of your work is really something that you can distill down to 4 or 5 really important things, which I'll share with you. Lastly, you don't have to learn everything about finance or Excel to become good at financial modeling. You just need to know the right concepts and the right tools, and I'm here to show you. If you don't have any finance or Excel experience, it is not a problem. I know that from the last course, I asked, and if you guys please mute your mics, if you could, thank you. From the last class that I gave, which was a shortened version, I asked the students whether they had used Excel or Sheets, Google Sheets, and pretty much everybody raised their hand and said they did. So that's great news, but it's really not necessary. If there are some of you in this class who don't know Excel or don't know Sheets, I'm here to show you the basics and how to get you started so that you have confidence starting the creative process. Here's what I think you'll be able to do after you take this class. 1, you'll be able to confidently speak about key finance, accounting, and modeling terminology. 2, I will share with you about a dozen of the most useful Excel and Sheet features. As I said, there are about 4 or 5 that are really, really important. I will be able to, you should be able to rather construct a financial model from scratch. So starting with a blank screen. So I am a professor of practice, Mark. I've been doing this for a really long time. I think I'm probably old enough to be everybody's grandfather, which makes me feel really old. Because when I started as an analyst, when I first graduated from college, I took a job with a bank. And the first day of my job, my boss handed me a ledger paper and a pencil. And he said, could you please come up with a financial model for some business? And I really didn't know what to do because I had just paper and pencil and my imagination. And so I spent many, many, many hours perfecting the mathematics and the skills that are necessary to essentially put together a financial forecast using pencil and paper. The really sad part of that story is that when my boss asked me to make a change to the model, I literally had to erase much of the work that I had done and start all over again. Fantastically and finally, the personal computer was launched in 1981 or 80. And by 1985, I was using a personal computer. And in particular, I was using software called Lotus 123, which I don't think exists anymore. But it was really life-changing. I was able to make quick decisions and quick changes to my model. I was able to do sensitivity analysis, and it really was a fantastic advance in technology for people in the financial world. I've worked for a Wall Street firm, a couple of top Wall Street firms as an investment banker. I've worked on hundreds of transactions. I started a media company with just an idea, which was a karaoke company. We might do some financial modeling around the business of karaoke, which is kind of fun. I built this into a publicly traded company with about 60 million US in revenue. I know that's a lot more in rupees. Actually, I know the math for that. It's, yeah, we'll get to that in the model. I